Wow. Well, here's Brandowski. Well, good morning. Thank you all. And as I am learning across the city of Chicago, there are so many different ways and languages in which we can greet one another. So I'm going to do my best attempt to do it for the people who have made this moment possible. So here we go. Kohani Brasha Isostri. So it's very powerful to be in such a historic place, especially because we know that Chicago is the largest place where Polish Americans call their home. And that's what Chicago is about. Our diversity is our strength. That no matter where you come from, whether you come from Central or South America, Eastern Europe, the continent of Africa, or from Salis, Mississippi, like my family did, Chicago is a place that has to remain a welcoming space for everyone. And under a Brandon Johnson administration, the city of Chicago will always be a welcoming, protective space, no matter who you are or where you come from. All right. I have so much love for our siblings in the Polish community, especially because we're standing in the park of an individual who knew the value of liberation before many of us were even thought of. And of course, that's our brother, Kosciuszko. And it was another dear brother that understood liberation, Frederick Douglass, who wrote in the North Star of the key leadership of Kosciuszko and his refusal to accept the behavior of this country when it continued to not just marginalize, but oppress and enslave my ancestors. It was Polish Americans who stood with slaves against the power structure in this country. And it's always spoken truth to power. And as a public school teacher, that history is important. It is important. And my opponent doesn't want that history taught in our public schools. That the deep history of our ancestors that saw this moment coming about one day, that even when they knew they may not get here, they knew that their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren will arrive in a place called Chicago, where a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-generational movement could elect a working-class brother who was raising his family on the west side of Chicago, that is committed to making sure that not just our history being told, but making sure that our future and our promises are as big and as diverse as the city of Chicago. Because no matter where you live in this city, you get to have a fully funded neighborhood school. No matter where you live in this city, we have to have reliable and safe transportation. We have to make sure that environment and climate justice is a major part of our apparatus so that posterity can live in a climate that works for everyone. We get to build that together. And as I close, as we are reminded of the deep history that we have together, as Polish, black, brown, white, Asian, middle class, working class, families who are struggling in poverty. And since I've been running, I have now 2 rich friends now too, so we're getting there, Chicago. But that this movement has brought tremendous hope and inspiration, and that the politics of old that have separated our communities and have divided our communities, we are going to put an end to the tale of 2 cities and usher in one story for one Chicago. I don't think it's by happenstance that we will set a new course in this city on April 4th, the day that one of the greatest humanitarians ever walked the planet was assassinated. But he also understood the collective struggle of working class people, where he stood with Mahatma Gandhi and recognized that our approach to justice and liberation is a collective responsibility. And even though there were forces that are trying to separate us, divide us, and even destroy us, we have the greatest power on the planet. And that is the most radical power on the planet. And that is the act of love. That me as mayor of the city of Chicago understand one thing, and I want you to be perfectly clear, that electing me as the next mayor of the city of Chicago, you're gonna have someone who loves the people of Chicago.
Yeah.
So on April 4th, we are not just commemorating the assassination of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. We will be celebrating the resurrection of the city of Chicago. Because as Dr. King said it, if we can do it in Chicago, we can do it anywhere else in the world. And so Polish, black folks, brown folks, no matter who you are, Asian folks, we are building a political movement that the rest of the world will envy. And what we do on April 4th, as Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, we're going to take the progressive movement of working class people, not just to the 5th floor, but around the country. God bless you. My name is Brendowski, and I approve this message.
Brandon Ski, by the way, we have
What do we want?
justice for mayor.
What do we want?
Justice for mayor.
When do we want it?
Now.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
When?
No.
When?
But, by the way, we are not done yet. But before we go on, we have a gift for the teacher right here. Bogdan Dola, thank you so much. Bogdan has helped do all this wonderful setup for the event. On Poland and Poles, a history book. Surprising gift, right? But special gift for the missus.
Okay.
Polish corals. And a lovely tie from Podlasie.
Love it. Wait, there's
But
more.
wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
A nice traditional Polish little bell.
Wow.
Ring that bell when you win it. Awesome, thank you. Oh no, because you have it. So, thank you. 100%. Super cool. Looking forward to voting for you today. Man, I'm looking forward to voting for this guy today. So, we have here a wonderful Polish American that serves with Brandon as county commissioner. None other than Kevin Morrison. Kevin, come right.